How many working people, how many brilliant kids are unable to innovate or contribute what they have because of the need for them to survive?
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
And this last clip that I pulled from TikTok, it's not yours, but since I found it on TikTok and you're from TikTok, I figured we'd let you riff on it. But we talked some about the importance of free time, and I don't have any reason to believe that the person who's mentioned here is in a union or anything like that, but it really does speak to the importance and the value to individuals and to even, greater society for people to have free time to just, screw around and, do whatever they want to do. So Adam, let's play this last clip and react to it.
A random guy may have just rewritten human history with his bombshell discovery. In what might be a major archaeological breakthrough, a furniture specialist thinks the earliest writing in human history has been hiding in plain sight. In Europe, hundreds of caves, including Les Sceaux in France and Altamira in Spain, are decorated with hundreds of paintings of animals and other figures that were made between 15,000 and 40,000 years ago, back when humans were still hunter-gatherers. And these paintings have contained dots and lines that have long evaded explanation, until now. Ben Bacon, a furniture conservator from London who has described himself as effectively a man off the street, was just looking at pictures of this Paleolithic cave art online one day when he noticed those dots and line markings and had a hunch that they might be decipherable. In a testament to the wonders of free time, Bacon apparently spent hours online and in the British Library consulting pictures of cave drawings. He said he amassed as much data as possible and began looking for repeated patterns. So previous researchers suggested that the markings might be numerical notations used to count the amount of animals sighted or killed. Bacon made a leap to suggest they might form a calendar system designed to track the life cycles of the animals in the pictures. Bacon then reached out to leading archaeologists at Durham University and the University College London to develop the idea further and co-author a study, which was published on Thursday in the Cambridge Archaeological Journal. So the lines and dots seen were thought to be a lunar calendar, and the researchers also analysed a Y shape, which was thought to represent an animal's birthing period because the shape kind of looks like open legs. To oversimplify, the researchers compiled a database with over 600 dot and line sequences, as well as some 250 sequences with the Y shape. And after conducting statistical analysis of the database, Bacon and his colleagues were amazed to find that their lunar calendar lined up with the known birthing periods of the animals shown in the caves. Professor Pettit, one of the researchers from Durham University, said he was glad he took it seriously when Bacon reached out to him. As Bacon told Motherboard, the discovery shows our Paleolithic ancestors were just as cognitively advanced as we are, and that their society achieved great art, numbers, and writing. Bacon told Motherboard his team wanted to hold back on the celebrations until all of their research was published. But if their hypothesis is accurate, this discovery would push the timeline of written language back tens of thousands of years.
A furniture specialist. Like, how cool is that?
It's just fascinating, and it drives it really spits in the face of this talking point that I see in discourse constantly in support of our current system, right? The thing that so commonly online is that our system, as it is, the capitalism that we have, innovates. Capitalism creates innovation, right? Breeds innovation. I've heard it a couple different ways. They point at all these examples and all these technological marvels that come from, these developed countries, and they completely ignore this fact, right? This idea that for every one of those people, how many of us, how many working people, how many brilliant kids, how many people with these inquisitive minds are unable to innovate or unable to contribute what they have to society because of the need for them to survive, to feed themselves, to maybe work those 70, 80 hours a week, instead of letting their true potential come out and contribute to society in another way.
Yeah, and he didn't, it's not like this person, there's no way that they would have been able to do this if they had to work that 70, 80 hours a week to survive, right? This person had a pretty significant amount of free time. And also, it's worth mentioning, they say that, people, when we're talking about increasing, the tax rate on the wealthy, well, what would be their motivation for doing anything if you, increase their tax rate from 30% to 50%, right? But this person, there's no indication that this person is going to get wealthy from it. Maybe there's some amount of compensation that they're going to get, but it's not going to be millions or billions of dollars, even though they really changed the timeline of human history with their, free time discovery. It's, people are motivated by all sorts of things, and money is only one of those things. And I think that it's really not that strong of a factor, I mean, once you have enough money to survive, I think that most people are going to be motivated by other things, as this person clearly was. And everybody should be able to be motivated by other things. I think that there was somebody who said, I'm not particularly interested in Einstein's, particular IQ or whatever. I'm more interested in how many Einsteins we've lost due to, them not being able to flourish, them not having the free time, the surroundings to be able to become an Einstein. How many people were smarter than Einstein that slaved away in a diamond mine in Africa or something, or in how many people have we lost like that, right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, both of you guys made that point that we all have our potential to contribute, and we all have our own motivations. And I think this idea that, well, the only way to run a society is that the vast majority of people are threatened with homelessness and starvation if they don't go work for someone else, I just reject that that's our only option. I find that to not be true. I think that people now and throughout human history have always created things, innovated things, built things, made things better, helped other people, helped their community. People have always done these things for a variety of reasons.
Nobody was filing patents on fire. Nobody filed a patent on the wheel, so that they're these are things that were contributed because they were discovered and they were monumental, right? So
right.
When
and that's also something that clip kind of gets to in terms of, if you want to talk about our ancient past. I mean, it's easy to think that the current system we have now, the system of capitalism and hierarchy that companies that is like they want us to think it's natural, right? That this is just like the way things are. This is the natural system, but it's only a few centuries old. Human beings have been on this planet for a very long time, and for over 90% of that history, there was no class or state involved, right? So it's a misnomer to think that the way things are right now is the only way, or that it's the natural way. I just reject that.
Evolution of the way, right? Because that's the other thing that I hear is, well, it used to be different, and because this is how we do it now, therefore this is the better way, right? The system, this is the way of society that is a natural and better evolution of what we had before. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with the putting a value judgment on it, but it certainly is not, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion, it is not the final form, so to speak.
Right, yeah. It's not like history has ended. And, that was sort of the triumphal claim in the 90s, as the Soviet Union collapsed. It's like, okay, well, here we go. Case closed. Capitalism won. Like, buckle up. That's the rest of our lives. That's the rest of humanity's existence. But, there were people at one time who thought feudalism would never go away. They never imagined a time where your worth was not marked by, your bloodline. and noble titles and divine right of kings. It would have 500 years ago, 600 years ago, you would have found a lot of people who would have had trouble conceptualizing an existence outside of that, right? And I don't know that we're so unique now. And the idea that the system we have now will be eternal, I think is arrogant, and I think it's ahistorical, and if it comes out to be true, it's just because we self-destruct, and the system takes us down with it. That you know, I know we've gotten kind of deep into like philosophical nature of our society here, based on some TikTok videos, but yeah, those are my thoughts.
Well, sure, and you know what, I just want to say, like, as much as like it, you know, it's like, oh, it's silly we're talking about these deep philosophical things, but I think that kind of brings up a really good point, which is, and also this ties in a little bit to the man of deducing the calendar from the cave paintings, right? Is that we constantly give ourselves less credit. We constantly look back and give people less credit, right? These people drawing horses in caves or whatever, they there's no way that they could have tracked a calendar, right? We look back, there's no way that people could have done this, because the way that we do things today is so great. And I see it a lot internalized even on the job site today, right? Where or in our society today, where people think that these men and women, these people that are working with the tools, these people that are working with their hands, that we are somehow less intelligent and somehow less aware, and somehow that we perceive society through some foggy, coal-smoked lens of a stupid factory worker or I'm a neck down person and all I could do is turn a wrench or swing a hammer. And my experience has shown that this is so far from the truth. Discussions like this one that we're having right now, I've had on the job site with iron workers and plumbers and welders and laborers. So I am very strongly disagree with the idea that these deeper philosophical debates aren't something that is natural to us as humans. It has nothing to do with our class or our level of formal education.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And I've found very similar things in my experience as well. Like, I've had some really deep analytical conversations with working class people, many of whom did not have college degrees, some of them didn't even finish high school. But, you know, it doesn't take an education or an income to have an imagination. And I think that's one thing that is sorely lacking.
Yeah.
Fully agree. Oh, go ahead.
No. I was just about to wrap up.
Okay.
And, as we do wrap up, I wanted to say, Asa, I really appreciate what you're doing and like how you're reaching people. I am a little bit older than Jacob, and I am a lot less online. So like, I'm not really a big TikTok guy, and I'm not really on social media a ton. But I really am impressed with what you're doing and how you're reaching people. And I think it's just, we need more of that in the labor movement, of reaching people where they are, however that looks like. And I think you've found a way to reach people on a platform and with humor in a way that's really cool. And I just really appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you. I try way harder than it looks like I try.
Yeah, well,
we know that
the last, I guess the last thing that the last thing I meant to ask you this and I forgot. How many? Because some of these, there's a couple of them that you did where like You look cool as shit, man. Like, just like super, like, oh, I'm like a, you know, worker, or like, I'm thinking of the one where you're laying down your toolbox and you're like, you know, clocking out to, you know, post like anti-boss content or something. And it's like, wow, this guy looks like really big, strong, cool worker guy. How many times did you have to tape that? Was that a one and done, or did you have to get the look, did you have to do it a few times?
That was completely a one and done, just a total fluke of lighting. I will say that sometimes, especially with some of the format of lip syncing to somebody else talking, or I do think of what I do as art, right? So things like angles and lighting are important to me, and I do entertain people sometimes in the parking lot or on the job site with just imagine seeing me in my high vis vest and my hard hat, and I've got my phone set up, and I'm bashing my head into saying a couple of times and bashing my head into a toolbox a bunch of times over and over again until I get the time. Definitely giving some people entertainment who have no idea what the hell I'm doing.
That's awesome. Asa Liebman, fourth year apprentice from UA Local 469 in Arizona. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me out. You guys have a great show.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.